What's going on, you guys? The Keith Garnter, and today we are talking about the Keddie Murders. Now, this is a very interesting thing here, and I'm trying to be a little light in the mood here, but this is a very, very, very disturbing case, unsolved case, might I add. Now, I kind of battled myself here, and I thought to myself, should I put this, I'm still kind of thinking to myself, should this be under my Unsolved series, or should this be under the Criminal Mind? But I decided to go ahead and file this under the Unsolved section because it is unsolved, and we can't really fully talk about the killers because we don't know everything about them. We don't know their backstory, anything, because it's unsolved. So I'm going to go ahead and read you guys the overall details, the details of the crime, give you guys my thoughts, and I would love to hear in the comment section below what you guys think about this case. Now, this is really fun. This is my first Unsolved episode since September, I think, 22nd of 2015, so this is definitely fun. This is the first one we've done in a while, so I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys are happy to see another episode of Unsolved being put up. And without further ado, let's get into it. So, the Keddie Murders is an unsolved 1981 American quadruple homicide that occurred in Keddie, California. The murders took place in Cabin 28 during the late evening of April 11th, 1981, and or early morning of the 12th. The victims were Glenn Sue Sharp, known as Sue, who was 36, her son John, aged only 15, and his friend Dana Wingate, age 17. At some time after the crime was discovered, Sue's daughter, Tina, age 12, was determined to be missing. Her skull and several other bones were recovered in 1984 in Camp 18, California, which is in Butte County. Sue's oldest daughter, Sheila, had stayed with the next-door neighbors in Cabin 27 that night. Discovering the murders the morning of the 12th, Sue's two youngest sons and their friend, who were having a sleepover at 28 that night, were found uninjured in the boys' bedroom in the morning. No arrests have been made in connection with the Keddie murder. Several buildings that had eventually been condemned, including residence 27 and 28, were demolished in 2004. So you guys kind of get the gist. And before I go on, I want to let you guys know that the movie The Strangers, if you're not familiar with it, just Google it real quick and you can kind of get an idea. Was a movie I went and saw in theaters. I own it on Blu-ray. Is loosely based on these murders. Now, they changed a lot. It's inspired by these. It says inspired by true events, but they did change a lot of stuff in the movie. But the movie was actually really good, and I heard they're making a sequel. I don't really know how that's possible, but okay. So here's the details of the crime, and I'm going to give you guys my ideas. Glenna Sue Sharp, 36, and her 5 children had been renting the cabin since November of 1980. On the night of April 11, 1981, Sue was home with her 2 youngest boys and a friend of the boys, Justin, who was staying the night. Tina returned home from watching TV at Cabin 27 around 10 p.m. Sue's oldest son, John, and his friend Dana had spent the day in nearby Quincy, planning to return to Keddie in order to sleep in John's basement bedroom. John and Dana were last seen walking along Route 70 near Quincy. The crime may have already been in progress when they arrived at the cabin, or they may have heard a disturbance upstairs while in John's room. That's fucked up. I mean, can you imagine that? Like, you're just walking with your friend, going to your house. I mean, that's the thing that's so scary, is that home is such a safe place for so many people. When I'm here at my home, like, I know I'm never really truly safe from evil people, but the fact is that you feel like a sense of security. I mean, you let down all of your guard and whatnot here. I mean, some people walk around their house naked. Some people walk around their house in their underwear because that's your domain, that's your place, that's your private place. And just to come home and either walking on your family being tortured and murdered, or hearing something upstairs, I mean, that's got to be the most horrifying thing in the world. At approximately 7:45 in the morning of April 12th, Sheila Sharp, upon returning to the sleepover next door, discovered the bodies of Sue, John, and Dana in the home's living room. All 3 victims had been bound with medical tape and electrical appliances wires. Over 22 feet of medical tape of varying widths were found on the bodies, while no medical tape was known to be in the house prior to the murders. So that obviously means the murderers probably brought that with them. After some initial confusion about whose bodies were in the house, Plymouth County Sheriff's deputies later determined that Tina was missing from the location. Found near John's body was a flimsy table knife with a bloody hammer, and old hickory model 70257 7-inch butcher knife were found on a nearby table. Examination of the bodies determined that each of the victims had been bludgeoned with hammers of two distinct sizes, and Sue and John had been stabbed repeatedly, including stab wounds in their throats. Oh man, that is so fucked up to read, because these people suffered. I mean, these people were destroyed by these sick fucks, and killing somebody with a hammer, I thought stabbing to death was bad, but I think the hammer probably would have been more painful. I don't know though. But and then they were stabbed even in their throat. Oh man. Dana was manually strangled to death and bludgeoned with another weapon, while Sue was bludgeoned with a Daisy Powerline 880 rifle brought by the killer, or killers. One pellet fired from the rifle, along with several pieces of the barred barrel sights, were recovered at the scene, but the rifle itself was never recovered. A bloody knife was also among evidence found in the trash bin in the Keddie General Store. The case grew cold, but in 1984, the cranium portion of the skull was recovered. Near Camp 18, a distance of roughly 29 miles from Keddie. Months later, after an anonymous call to the sheriff's office claimed the skull was of Tina's. The Camp 18 area was scheduled again for several hours over a period of time. Was searched again over a period of time. A jawbone and dozens of other bones were found, along with other potential evidence. The bones were later confirmed to be those of Tina Sharp. From these discoveries, no new information regarding the crime surfaced in the media. However, the sheriff's office released both the original and backup copy of audio recordings of the anonymous call to an undisclosed member of law enforcement. Both recordings were released to the same person at the same time, only to disappear. The murders remain unsolved, although the case is currently being actively pursued by members of the Plumas County Sheriff's Office. And that's it. That's all they know. Quite perplexing. Whoever committed these murders, whether this was one individual or this was two individuals, these people knew what they were doing. These people knew how to get away with it, and they successfully did. The brutality that was unleashed on these people was not only not only the obvious thing, it was extremely disturbing and extremely messed up, but it was also kind of weird that they would unleash such a random act of extreme violence against these people. And it seems like it was just a random act of murder, and there's never been any other cases, at least not that I know of, that have ever been linked to this killer or these killers, which it was probably more than one person. There has never been anything that has linked these murders to any other murder, so this sounds like it was a one and done type of thing for these people. Whoever committed this murder did it once and for some reason never did it again, and that's really uncommon. Usually a murderer, it's a compulsive thing and it's something that they can't control, and they repeatedly do it. These people did it once and that was it. They stopped. So why they did that, nobody, I don't think, will ever really understand or know. It is very, very confusing case, to say the least. And that poor girl who had to discover their bodies. I mean, that's something you would never forget. Truly, truly sad story. Personally, I think that there was maybe 2, possibly 3 people involved in this because of the amount of people that were tied up and whatnot. I mean, you're talking about 4 people. That'd be pretty hard for just a single person to do, but it is possible. I think it was random. I don't really believe it was something that was personal. But the brutality would suggest otherwise. But at the same time, there's nothing to really say that it wasn't random, you know? I mean, this case is so mysterious that there's really no way to truly know who did this, or why, for that matter. And I don't think this case will ever be solved, especially with the places being demolished now in 2004 and all this stuff. I don't really know if this will ever be solved. This is one of those cases, like, I think that goes along with the Black Dahlia and the Zodiac killings. I think this is a case that will remain unsolved forever, especially this one and the Black Dahlia. So that's just my opinion, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. I love having conversations with you guys. I love other people's opinions. Maybe some of you guys know some stuff I don't know about this case. That'd be great too. Some of you guys some of you guys present some cool stuff to me that I've never seen before. So if you want to do that or just talk about it, leave your stuff in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next. And if you guys have any suggestions of anything else you want to see Unsolved or anything else, leave it in the comments and I'll be sure to get to it as soon as possible. Once again, thanks for watching, and you guys, be careful out there.